Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. For today's podcast episode, we are doing our Rambo First Blood review. This is part of our Rambo Trilogy franchise review. We hope that you guys enjoy this as much as we're going to go on ahead and just explore Rambo for what it is. I actually enjoyed this movie a lot. It may not be up there with all the other Rambos or whatever, but it's very entertaining. I really enjoyed it. But let's just go on ahead, just dive into it real quick. Basically, after 7 years after Rambo's discharge, Ben veteran, he travels by foot to visit an old comrade, only to learn that his friend had died from cancer the previous year due to Agent Orange exposure during the war. So this is the thing that really got me at the very beginning of it. It starts off on a happy note in a sense, because John Rambo's on this whole entire thing of where he wants to find his friend. He hasn't seen his friend in 7 years after being discharged and everything. And then all of a sudden, he gets the news when he goes over to his friend's house and gets the news that he has passed on. He had cancer. And all of a sudden, that's just a low blow to Rambo on the opening, because you're hoping for this happy kind of start to it, but then it's like a kick in the balls kind of, where, okay, John's like, okay, well, my friend died. Here's a picture of my friend. I'm just going to go on ahead, travel into this one little small town and maybe get a bite to eat and everything. And that's when everything winds up going south for him. But what did you think about the opening scene and all that?
I mean, you instantly feel for you really feel sad for John. It's just like everybody's shitting on him. He didn't deserve any of this. It's like by the time everybody's protesting the war and they're blaming him for the war, where he had no decision on any of this. He went to war to defend his country, and when he came back, he got shit on, and he got targeted by this dumbass sheriff. He's like, oh, like, don't push. He's like, oh, I'm the sheriff. I can do whatever the hell I want. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, you're corrupt. Of course, it's a small town. Like, he thinks he's big cahoots. He can walk the walk and talk. It's like, dude, you guy's a pussy.
He is. He really is. If you actually think about it, Will is probably the most douchebag sheriff that you can actually think of. Because here's the thing. He even says it. He goes, yeah, I'm the sheriff around here. And you know what? This is a small town. And it's a boring town. And I like to keep it that way. Because I don't like the likes of you. I don't like anything about you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on ahead and do you a favor. Which is really about him doing the sheriff doing his own self a favor, because he doesn't like John at all. So What does he do? He goes on ahead, brings him out of town into this mountain type area, and because of the fact that he doesn't want him in his town. Not only that, but John is also asking him, can he go ahead and get something to eat? He goes, yeah, you can get something to eat, just not in our town. So basically, you're already dealing with an asshole and everything. And then he gets out of the car, and then John starts walking back towards the town. The sheriff stops the car and tells him, what the hell are you doing? I said that you can't come into the town and everything. I cannot stand this guy. No. This guy defended your country.
He has the American flag on his jacket.
Yeah.
Okay.
And no, it's okay. But he has, like you said, he has the American flag on his jacket and everything. He represents the United States. He fought for our country, and you're treating him like royal shit instead of pinning a medal on him and saying, thank you for your service, sir. Thank you for what you've done for us. And he's treating him like, back in those days, like a hippie, if you think about it, because they also frowned upon hippies at that time though too, and stuff like that.
It's the end of the age of the Aquarius. It's the end of that period. I want to rephrase. Instead of calling him the other word, I'll call him a wuss. Wuss is a much better term to call him. Sorry if I said the other word, but I say wuss is better. But no, yeah, he hated him. I was like, dude, what's your problem with him? I'm like, he's seriously, like, you're stereotyping him because he wears an army jacket and he's carrying a backpack. It's like you're calling him homeless. Like, you're stereotyping him already. You don't even get to know him. And then he wanted to get something to eat, and you felt like arresting him. And I'm like, come on, do you not know who you're dealing with? And then they take him to the police station, and that old guy is just as bad too. Like,
right.
I don't like the way you're looking at me, boy. I'm like, jeez. That guy just like he's a stubborn asshole, and I'm like, you really think you're tough nut just because you're the old man, old man, my ass.
Exactly, and then also too, he goes, "You think that Will was bad? Wait until you meet me. You haven't seen nothing yet." And then also too, like the thing that really pissed me off was the part where he goes, "Okay." After he gets done trying to put his finger, do his thumbprints and everything, and John is not trying to fight them or anything like that. He's trying to coexist into a world without war. He's not used to having his fingerprints or anything like that taken. So of course he's not going to end up feeling like he's being gentle or anything. You know what I'm saying? You're not you're not going to win him over willingly by doing that. He's gonna, of course, he's gonna wind up being tense, and that's exactly how he was. He was tense. He went through hell in that POW camp and everything, trying to survive so he can come back home and everything, and salvage whatever rationality that he has. And then on top of that, the thing that ticks me off was the part where he goes, "Okay, we have to get him ready for court the next day." So what do? They spray him down with this big, huge water hose that's for fighting fires and stuff. And there was no need of that. Not only that, but that also activated his PTSD as well. And the thing is, back in those days, they didn't know how to actually cope with PTSD. They didn't even never heard of PTSD or anything like that. So something like that is something new whenever you're dealing with that in the 1980s after coming home, of course, during Vietnam War and stuff like that, though, too. But it just sucks that he got the shaft on that so badly. And then of course I love what he does to them. He winds up kicking their asses and everything, and then runs out of the police station and everything, and then takes the motorcycle and goes up into the wilderness and everything, into the woods. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna take you out of your element, I'm gonna put you in my element. I'm gonna put you through what I went through. And that's exactly what I feel like with this film. He put them out of the town element and puts them right into the face of war, what he went through.
Yeah. I loved it when he beat up those cops. Like the old man, like him beating the crap out of him. That was pretty nice to see. I hated him. Him kind of like drop kicking Will. It was kind of cool too. The only cop that I actually really liked was Mitch. Mitch is the one that's like, he's the one that figured out something was up on him. And if anybody hasn't seen this movie in a while, if anybody's recognized that, hey, that guy looks familiar. Well, he was he knows how to pick up on some stuff, because that's David Caruso from CSI Miami fame of the whole one-liners. I guess you can call that explosive situation. Like him. Yeah, that's a very young David Caruso, and he's the only one that figured out that someone was up with him, and he's the only one that was being nice to him. And then it's but yeah, it's just like I just hated the cop. I hate the sheriff, because they think like, oh, we're in charge of this big small town. Yeah, we're corrupt as hell. Yeah, we're gonna do whatever we want. With small town, no way ain't gonna do anything to us. Like, they don't have a care in the world. I'm like, yeah, well, that's your problem, because you're judging too quickly. You should have waited till the information comes out. You're like Warner Brothers right now. You're being reactionary.
Exactly. And then also too, they don't know how to deal with someone like Rambo or anything like that. They're a small town sheriff department. They should have at least contacted the government officials or something like that as soon as he walked into the sheriff's department, to be honest with you. I mean, come on, you see the dog tags, you see the marks on the back of his back. Oh, and man, they also that was brutal. That was really brutal.
Yeah.
But yet you see the battle scars, but you just don't give a shit, because you're just looking down upon him. And everything, and that's really shitty. No, definitely not.
I mean, for all the hell that Rambo went through to serve this country, to defend his troops, the code of honor, and you just you treat him like crap, like he's a homeless person when he clearly isn't homeless. I'm pretty sure he was trying to tell you he wasn't homeless, but you're stubborn. You're just being stubborn assholes, and not. Oh yeah, and that combat knife. I mean, you should have realized the combat knife was military-esque.
Right. A matter of fact, another thing too that I want to bring up before we get into the whole entire thing with him being in the wilderness, though, too, the cop actually brings him 30 miles out of the town area whenever he asked him if he can get a bite to eat. That's something I forgot to mention in my notes. and everything, though, too, whenever we were just talking about the beginning
Yeah.
of it a little bit. But he then, like I said, he takes them out of that town element, puts them into the wilderness and stuff like that, which is something that I really liked. Mary McGee, she says in his combat knife. His combat knife, I tell you what, is badass. I love that combat knife. But yeah,
it's a great knife. I like the one in the fifth one, the best one. That's his knife in the fifth one. That's my favorite ones of his knives. But this one was a pretty cool one. But he uses a lot more in the sequels, and that's what I like about the sequels.
Right. And then of course, they also try to shave him. That's something else I wanted to bring up too, and that's also what else triggers his PTSD. Then of course that's when he of course regains his knife and fights his way out of the police station, like I mentioned, with the motorcycle fleeing into the woods. And I love how Tessel just is so stupid, oblivious to who Rambo actually is, and he organizes a search group, a town search group, like he's a fugitive and everything, when he didn't kill anybody or anything like that. And it's just basically all you have is someone who owns some dogs and knows how to track somebody. And and then of course, Rambo is also too, this is another thing that winds up happening to the old officer, though, too. This is before the tracking, right? Before they track him.
Yeah. Well, him on the helicopter, and like, oh yeah, I'm channeling my inner youth. I'm gonna hang outside on the side of the helicopter and shoot Rambo after I had strict orders from my boss not to shoot, keep him alive. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna get him. Yeah, well, look what happens, old man.
He winds up falling out.
You lose your balance, and you fall out, and you go flat. What a dumbass.
Right? I guess Great Call didn't help with that situation.
No.
There's no getting up from that.
No. He needed his Activia. Right. The price is ballast and released when he died. I mean, seriously. But and they all blame Rambo for that, because you know why? Let's blame everything on him for no reason. Because he threw a rock and the guy lost that after the pilot told him, "Sir, get back inside. This is not cool. Do you want me to? I'll kill you too." I'm like, he really wanted to get his fix in for killing somebody. I'm like, geez, why not look at this? Your own sheriff, your cop buddy or sheriff buddy, because he wanted to kill somebody, and maybe he's the issue. And he's got an urge to kill. I'm like, yeah, look what happened. Somebody died. This wasn't the guy you wanted. It was you. Because you lost your balance on the helicopter because you're a dumbass. Quote Red Foreman, dumbass.
And then, of course, this is when Rambo winds up retaining his gun, retaining the rifle.
Yeah.
And everything. And then also want to mention this. Rambo was going to turn himself in.
Yeah.
And everything. And then what happens? Will's group of people decides that they're going to go ahead and shoot him. Shoot at him and everything, whenever he didn't even do anything. And all he was doing was just backing up and everything. And that's all he was doing, surrendering. And then here they are trying to shoot at him. Yeah. And then they wind up shooting.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Then they wind up shooting at the ground, and it ricochets and hits Rambo in the eye.
Yeah. He kept saying, "I didn't do anything," and it's like, "I didn't kill him." And the guy's like, "I don't give a shit." And I'm like, you wanted him alive, then you're shooting at him, and you tell everybody to cease fire. Make up your mind, crap, or get off the pot already. Jeez, what? Did everybody die? Did you kill everybody to become the sheriff? How did you become sheriff if you're so effing stupid? Then again, it's a dumb town anyway, so.
Right. Basically, like I said, all they can do is just small town crime stuff. They're not used to something like this. They need actual military grade people to actually help. And even the volunteer National Guard is not the way to go about it either, but we're going to get to that in a few minutes.
Those guys work at a gas station, I think.
You have a fucking guy that works for the fucking pharmacy on the crew. For crying out loud. But we'll get to that in a few minutes. But then, like I said, they call a search party up. They get these dogs tracking him. And then, of course, that's when they said, oh, I think he ran out of bullets. He goes, how do you know? Well, he stabbed the dogs and everything, and they're dead. That does not mean anything. That's just a stealth kill. That's all he did. And Mary, you're absolutely right. Their town, their rules. I can't stand small towns like that or anything like that whenever it comes down to people. That character is so despicable, to be honest with you. And everything. That sheriff is just a complete douchebag.
Yeah.
But go on ahead, Charlie. I know they wanted to say something.
I thought it was. I think I thought the him in the woods sequence. I mean, it was very cringeworthy because it's kind of funny. Like when you see Mitch, he's crawling. You see this brown thing in the grass. Like you instantly know that's a human. That's him. And he goes up and like he stabs him in the ass or something, or he does something. Yeah. I think it's that. I mean, he gets Mitch in the ass, and then it's like, and he's like and then you see in that, and then you see in and then some. Again, some of it was very cringeworthy because this came out in 1982 or something, or 89 or whatever. I forgot when. But it's kind of fun. You seen him in the woods, like you see this brown thing, looked like somebody went to the bathroom, and he gets up and he just stabs Mitch in the ass, and then he's climbing on top of trees and you see him flying like Batman or whatever. I mean, it's just that whole sequence was kind of funny in a cringeworthy way because it's. To this day, that doesn't hold up. But and then him using the traps, like the classic wood traps. I'm like, and he's like, like I said, he gets some of these sheriffs are so idiot. Mitch, we gotta get Will, get over here. And then like when Will's running, you see the other guy right behind him. Then all of a sudden, you see Rambo grab him, and like it's like it just. When he gets these guys and like when in this stealthily, it's just so funny because it's just
right. There's even the scarecrow thing though too that he pretends that there's a and then go. I think that's him. No, it's a scarecrow, and also too, I love how Rambo makes that booby trap though and hits the other douchebag sheriff in the knees and everything too. I thought that was actually good. And yes, Mary, I actually have to agree with you. They gave him a war they didn't believe. Definitely. Like I said, they took him out of the town element, puts them right into front center into his domain, and that's John Rambo's war.
Yeah. And everything. And the other thing I wanted to add is that is like he ran out of bullets. Like, how do you know? I don't know. I'm like, well, maybe Rambo intentionally did that to get you guys out here because Rambo's like he's a combat vet. He's skilled in everything. He's skilled in stealth, guns, hand-to-hand combat because he beats your sorry asses in the police station. Vehicle, like he's the jack of all trades when it comes to a combat vet. Like, and you guys, he's out of bullets. How do you know? I don't know.
And also, too, Mitch also knows that he's a Green Beret as well. So he's even telling them, look, he's a Green Beret. You don't need to mess with him.
Yeah, they're badasses.
They're total badasses. And then, of course, that makes, the douchebag sheriff Will more pissed off and everything and wants to kill him even more.
He's like, you got to be kidding me. When they tell him about when he's like that, I'm like, do you want to continue after him? Yeah, we're continuing after him. Sir, do you not hear me? Did you not hear me? He's like either my way or the highway. I'm like, okay, well, you're on a highway to hell.
Right, exactly. And then the booby trap winds up hitting the douchebag in the knees and gets stuck into his knees. And then, of course, Will has to try and go ahead and, try to take it out of him. But then at the same time, Rambo comes up, camouflaged in dirt and everything. And this is the scary element to me. Because then all of a sudden, the combat knife is at Will's throat. And goes, if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to kill you. And that's when Will starts, to be honest with you, body bags, a lot of them, yes. Yeah. But definitely a lot of body bags. But at that point, though, that's how you have to know that he was scared. Will was scared at that moment.
You see him crying.
You actually see Will cry like a little bitch, to be honest with you. And at that moment, you thought, okay, maybe Will might leave him alone. Nope.
No.
Will does not learn.
Even when a superior shows up, he's like, I don't give a shit. I'm going after him. After his superior showed up. And then all of a sudden you see the other true hero, Rambo's his commander, Troutman. He shows up talking about like telling him like, you need to back off. Let me take my guy home because I'm not saving him. I'm saving you from him because he started a war that, yeah.
Oh, I want to get to that in a minute, okay. But the news reporter made me laugh my ass off though, because of the fact that he goes, these brave men are searching for this fugitive. They've been searching all day. These brave men of the law, who's helping to bring in this fugitive. I'm like, what brave men? No. You got 3 men that are injured, 1 douchebag cop, 1 cop that's dead.
Yeah, and the funny thing is like, and they're gonna have him within hours. You guys do you seriously not know what a war vet is, especially the combat is John, and like what he did, he dispatched the whole sheriff, and he had to call in the National Guard. Yeah, but the reporter, like, he looked stone out of his mind.
Exactly. And then of course, like, here's the thing, I love his commander and officer where he says, I didn't come to save you, I didn't come here to save him, I came here to save him from you,
or save you from him.
Save you from him.
Yeah, whatever, it's the same idea.
But then of course that's when we have the stupid volunteer National Guard. One guy's a pharmacist that has no idea what he's doing. He has a bazooka, never fired that thing, RPG, that never fired anything in his whole entire life.
I mean, they're all scaredy cats. Like, to get in the National Guard, like, after Rambo was intentionally not shooting at them, you're shooting at the dirty, he's channeling in their stormtrooper, and they're all hiding like they're scared. I'm like, yo, get in there. I ain't going in there. How about you? It's kind of like it was channeling their inner white supremacist sequence for Django. I'm like, dude, what about the bags? Like, as I say, we're not doing the masks or whatever. It's just like this stuff bickering with each other. Get the bazooka up. But I love the line by Troutman talking about, like, 200 men. I'm like, he's like, there's only 200 men. It's one guy. What's going to end up happening? He's like, you're going to need a lot of body bags. Like, yeah. I mean, Rambo would take out every single one. Yeah, weakened soldiers, pretty much.
And then also, too, I want to go back to the warning that Rambo actually gives him. But he said, I could have killed you, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. So that's a warning. He's just trying to give him a warning. They're not listening. And this is also, too, what Marie McGee said. Weekend soldiers. Yeah, weekend soldiers. Just voluntary soldiers that's there to work the weekend and everything. Just your local, everyday guys. Basically.
They're trying to get their action junkie fix.
Exactly. But then also too, then of course after that winds up going to hell and everything, because even one of the guys said this. He goes, "We're not supposed to go ahead and try to shoot him or anything like that while he's inside the cave. We're supposed to bring him out peacefully."
Yeah.
Because remember, this is all happening whenever he's inside that little cave area.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they start shooting at him. So John goes on ahead and fires back, and then they fire the bazooka. The next thing you know, they said, "Oh, John was firing at us first."
And
so therefore we had a right. Yeah, there's a, what do they call it? Memorial or something like that.
They're posing. They had this giant thing. They're all taking photos. Like, they did some stuff. Like, yeah, we're badasses now. We got him down. You guys not, and they declared him dead. Did you not check a body? Like, seriously, the thing wasn't caved in, or it might have. I don't know. But you didn't bother to go check. You start celebrating. You can't really call somebody dead when, I don't know, you don't see a body, and everybody is like saying he's dead. Oh, he's dead. Okay, we're done. I'm like, well, dumbasses.
Well, the only one that doesn't believe that he's dead is Will, because he wants to see a body. So that's kind of smart on his part, because he wants to see a body until you don't.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
But if you don't see a body, chances is the person's still alive.
Yeah.
And of course, that's whenever they said, well, we have to get a bulldozer and everything to break through it. Because, well, and then Will goes, well, that's your job. You're supposed to, but I don't wanna. I have to work the pharmacy tomorrow. And he just throws down his helmet. I'm like, okay, clearly you're not made to be in the National Guard or the Army or any type of military base. You're just voluntarily working with the National Guard.
Yeah.
With 4 people.
Yeah. And then I think Troutman was also the other one that figured out John wasn't dead, because I think he might have saw smoke or saw something up there further down on the top of the cave, and that's kind of where Rambo actually escaped at the when he got out of the cave. So Troutman knew Rambo wasn't dead. He was just playing along because he knew he trained Rambo and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you actually look at it though, from his perspective, he has this little smirk on his face.
Yeah.
Still to have non-concern because he knows deep down that Rambo has survived and he trained him well enough to adapt into the environments that he needs to adapt into to take someone down if need be. Mm-hmm. So he knows that he survived. There's this little smirk, this little perfect smirk on his face, knowing that he's still alive, while everybody else is celebrating that he's dead. Then, of course, it breaks into the whole entire scene where basically he's in the bar. Basically, Tripman is inside the bar and everything, too. And Will comes in, and he goes, well, I'm sorry about your boy. All of a sudden, now he's actually thinking that Rambo is dead.
Yeah.
And of course, Trentman is thinking to himself, no, he's still alive. I know he's still alive. And then it also breaks into the other scene where you have John lighting up, trying to make fire so that way he can see in the tunnel and everything so he can get out, which I love how that angle of the camera actually is. It actually gives you a little bit of a horror element dealing with Rambo and everything too at that moment, because you're afraid for him. You want him to try and get out of this tunnel, but can he get out of that tunnel? That's the question. So I definitely love that little bit of an aspect to it, how the camera just pan angles down a little bit onto him.
Yeah, I like that. And then, like I said, there's a lot of mixtures of stuff in this movie. Action movie. Now I wouldn't call it that. I would call it more of a horror movie. There's a horror element in it. And the horror element is about PTSD. I mean, there's that this is a horror movie about PTSD and like the trauma man goes through, and and like I said, Rambo is trying to survive. He's like the hero, and everybody else is the villain. So this is like not an action movie by no means. Like I said, I mean, and it's more of a drama and a horror. There's horror drama, it's a horror drama. And like I said, I mean, like I thought the angle was right when he got bit by the rat. Like, I mean, the scene, his back, the scene, everything. This is just like it's like you feel so bad for John the whole movie. And then when he gets out, and then he's like, and he steals one of the gets in the car, and he finds the officer. It's like, what's in here? An M16. Okay, you can leave.
M60. Yeah, it's an M16 machine gun that he finds.
You can leave, and he kicks him out of the car. And then suddenly the car suddenly shows up, and then the reaction's like, yeah, we called it too soon. He's not dead. I'm like, wow, big surprise. You come out on your own.
And you see, I love this other thing, though, too, that Rambo does. He ends up causing a diversion because he sets the Humvee on fire.
Yes.
And everything near the gas station to cause an explosion for everybody else to rush out. Sheriff douchebag Will is inside the police station, and that's, of course, when he gets that call, right? And then that's when Will winds up being afraid and goes up into the building, up into the attic part, and starts hiding out because he's expecting Rambo.
Yeah.
And everything, and he wants to take him down as well. He still wants to go on ahead and kill him. And yes, and I love how Rambo just goes on ahead, shoots the power line to one part of the town with the M60, and then after that moment, you actually see Will popping his head out like a damn jack-o'-lantern or jack-in-the-box, and everything. And then Rambo realizes, okay, that's where he is. That's where I have to get to. So he shoots the other part of the power lines that cause the rest of the town to lose power.
Yeah.
And he goes into total stealth mode.
I love the diversions. Like, I mean, the explosion of the gas station, that was awesome. I'm like, for 1980 something effects, that still holds up. It's 2021.
Definitely.
Compared to some of the other explosions that they've had recently in recent movies that are just weak, I'm like, Michael Bay would be turned on by that explosion.
That's probably where his inspiration came from.
Maybe, but that's one explosion, and then to get Rambo to get the douchebag cop to get his head to pop up, he caused another diversion in the gun shop. Like, for a small town, it's kind of fitting you would have a gun shop. So, and then he takes everything from the gunpowder, the bullets. I mean, that's another epic explosion right there. Luckily, nobody was in that building because, yeah, like same with the gas station. That was a mega explosion, not just gas everywhere, propane tanks, and then the whole, a lot of it, like, and then it was like a fire they couldn't put out. And then so he's hiding in the roof, and Rambo's like in the opposite side, and he sees Trotman hiding like a little bitch, and that's when he shoots the police station, and then he gets in there, and then he shoots the Troutman, shoots the whale in the legs, and he falls in for the glass, and that's when Troutman comes in to stop Rambo.
Right, and you see, I love this scene because it has so much pain, so much emotion, and everything from that. It reminds me of John Bernthal from The Punisher. It's not that's not a lie, because I love how he goes, "Do you know what they say about me? That I'm a terrorist. I'm basically someone that they look down on and everything with anti-war people that are protesting against the war. Mental struggle with disrespect received from anti-war protesters upon returning. Normal civilian life is not something that he is familiar with anymore. All he knows is how to kill, and that's it. He's just a killing machine." And I love the pain. I love the emotion. I love when his whenever you wind up seeing this whole entire thing, whenever you see Trapman just go over there and just hold him and, just to calm him down.
Yeah.
And everything. And that's the only person that John trusts and everything. And it's just sad that you have it's a shame that it's not somebody from the outside, and it has to be someone from the inside that made you into who you are to try and calm him down and to hold him and everything and tell him that it's okay. And yes, this line, nothing is over. That is right. It's just that pain, the emotion that John goes through.
Yeah.
And this is just sad.
This is actually this is an interesting tidbit, and I want to mention on the Blu-ray, that scene, there's an alternate ending. And I'm glad they not do that alternate ending. In the alternate ending, John's crying, Troutman's hugging him, Troutman shoots him and kills Rambo. End of movie. That scene was an alternate ending. They almost took away that our privilege to watch the other Rambos, because the other Rambos are like, you get to see him kick ass. And that's what Rambo is. Rambo is a guy that when there's a mission, he gets it done. But to almost have Rambo die at that point in the right in First Blood, I mean, that's a game changer right there. But I'm glad they didn't do it, because we got other Rambos, because we wouldn't have gotten the greatness that is Rambo 4 and him on an M60 turning guys to Swiss cheese. Like, I mean, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And you know what, though? I still love Rambo 3 just for that very beginning of the fight where he's actually fighting with the sticks, the martial arts thing. But we're going to talk about that when we do our Rambo 3 review, though. But
speaking of dumbasses, that's what Kurtwood's Red Foreman himself is in that movie briefly.
Exactly.
But yeah, I like the emotion in it. In this one, I love the ending. Like, I felt bad because he lost his best friends. He saw his best friend after he told him, "Don't open the box," from a Chinese kid. I'm like, come on, like, that's common sense. Like, you should never trust a kid overseas when you're at war, because he knew something. Like, he knew there was a bomb in there. But it's like, you feel so bad because John had his friend all over him. Like, blood, his guts, and he couldn't sleep for days or weeks. He doesn't even talk to anybody. He's alone. Nobody's there to help him out, and you just feel so bad. I mean, that emotion right there. I'm surprised he didn't get an Oscar nom for that, because that's Oscar performance right there.
Most definitely, man. I mean, it's, you know, everybody's like, Sylvester Stallone can't act. If you look at this performance and the very first Rocky performance that he did and everything, it's Oscar worthy on both levels of those films, to be honest with you. But more so on this one, to me, because it hits you where it needs to hit. You know, no pun intended, but it hits you on the emotional level. It hits you on all calibers. This is a perfect addition to a horror action type movie, because you're dealing, like you said, with the PTSD stuff. You're dealing with other pain and emotions that John is going through and battling with. Another thing I want to mention is this movie had a $15 million budget, and it made $125.2 million at that time in 1982.
Man.
And on top of that, until 2018, this was actually one of the biggest openings.
Nice.
And everything. Yeah. First Blood was released in 1982. Yep. A lot of people, matter of fact, this actually got a lot of mixed reviews whenever it first came out as well.
I mean,
too. But
like I said, this is not my favorite Rambo movie, to be honest. I'm on the opposite side. I think, I don't know if I saw this one first. I think I saw the other ones first before I watched this one. I think this isn't Rambo to me. This is just a horror movie. And like I said, the other ones are just so much better, because you see him taking out guys that the enemy, not like, and people like, they're actually there to help him. Like, yeah, like, or they need help. Not him getting chased out of a town because you didn't like the way he looks, and you didn't go to Men's Warehouse because they or whatever. And like I said, this one is just I'm not a huge fan of it, to me personally, and that's why I don't own this one in 4K. I own the other ones, but this is personally, if I had to rank it, this is probably my least favorite. I mean, there's elements I liked in it, but I just overall, it's just, this isn't Rambo to me. But that's me personally.
I can understand that though, man, because you want to see Rambo in his own element and seeing him being a killing machine, because that's basically what his commander-in-chief told everybody in that town is. He's a killing machine. He taught him everything he needs to know about survival, about the mechanics of a gun and everything else too, and controlling your emotions, everything. And I can understand that, because you don't actually see that from this film or anything like that. But, you know, as far as the emotional level goes and stuff like that, it hits on that level.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I'm going to have to agree with you on that. I mean, the first thing that I saw was probably Rambo 3 when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went into Rambo 2 and then Rambo 1.
Oh.
So I went backwards.
Yeah, it was so good though. 2 is really good. Like, I think Rambo is what kind of like made Schwarzenegger, because Schwarzenegger was in the rivalry with Stallone. That's why Schwarzenegger decided to do Commando, which is kind of like a Rambo-esque, where it's just one guy taking out an entire army. That's essentially what Commando was. It's not bad. It's classic Arnold, but Rambo is what Stallone kind of started at first, and it's a Schwarzenegger kind of, because that funny rivalry that two of them had. But Rambo 2 is much better than this. Rambo 2 is great. I think actually the second one was actually produced by James Cameron. And I think I believe it was produced by James Cameron. The second one's great. Third one's great. Fourth is my favorite. Fourth is just so good. It's so brutal, but so good. Yeah.
Well, get this. Here's a little bit of trivia. The movie takes place in the fictitious town of Hope, Washington. However, much of the movie was filmed in the real town of Hope, British Columbia.
Interesting.
So, yeah, very interesting on that part. But yeah, I get this. I even laugh my ass off whenever the kid gets stuck. Whenever Rambo stabs him in the ass with.
Yeah.
Because the first time I've watched this, because it's been years since I watched the very first Rambo movie, I didn't pick up on it. And then the second time, me watching this film, whenever I had to just recently, I saw where he stabs him in the ass.
Like it's so easy. It's like finding it's not finding a needle in a haystack. He's pretty visible in the grass. You see a lot
His
of green.
hands.
Then you see brown. He gets up and stabs him right in the ass. Could have been his legs. I don't know. It looked like an ass.
It looked like his ass, though, to be honest with you. Basically, he got stabbed in the buttocks, just like how Forrest Gump got shot in the buttocks. Basically.
Yeah. Lieutenant, yeah, but it's just, I just find it hysterical. I'm trying to find a funny pun, since again that's David Caruso that got stabbed in the ass. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out funny because it would be a pun he would do in CSI Miami as he takes off his sunglasses and you hear the yeah in the background. But no, I can't think of anything. But I just remember, oh my god, he got stabbed in the ass.
That's one way to take a stabbing. Or something.
Looks like he's not gonna. He's gonna have a. He's gonna not. Looks like he won't be able to sit well tonight. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So, is there anything else that you want to talk besides the ass stabbing?
No. We'll be mentioning, like I said. I mean, not much I want to talk about because this is a short movie. I'm really looking forward to getting to the better ones because there's so much greatness to talk about. I mean, the second one, that's what like that Charlie Sheen spoofed that in that Hot Shots Part Dos. In the second Hot Shots movie, he was making fun of Rambo, like the whole Rambo movie. Rambo First Blood Part 2 he made fun of that in Hot Shots Part 2, which is actually a funny spoof comedy if you're looking for something to watch. If you want your inner Charlie Sheen channel and his inner John Rambo, I don't know where you can find it. You can find it on the internet. Like you say,
you'll probably find it on YouTube to rent.
Probably
like
Hot Shots Part Dos, Ducks or whatever. It's a spoof of Rambo First Blood Part 2. But
also too, if you're a Gremlins fan, in Part 2, Gizmo actually acts like Rambo. I don't know if you ever saw that, Charlie, or not.
No, I haven't seen the Gremlins, to be honest.
I'm gonna have to, after we get done doing this, I'm gonna have to do a share thing with you real quick so you can take a look at it, because I don't want us to go on ahead and get our channel kicked off. But it's hilarious because the old Chinese man and everything gets onto Gizmo for watching TV. He goes, too much TV, runs out your brain. So next thing you know, he's watching he copycats everything Rambo is doing to take down the other Gremlins.
Nice.
So, but we'll watch that in a few minutes. But
also, if you want your Rambo fix or John McClane fix, if you have the new Call of Duty or you're playing Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War or Warzone, for 13 days there's an 80s action fix event. You have to pay get Call of Duty coins to get the skins for John Rambo or John McClane. It's a John off or whatever. So, like I said, if you're in Call of Duty for the next 13 days or whatever, you'll see a lot of people as either John McClane or Rambo with the hairdo running in, shooting, whatever. If you want your Rambo fix, you got that too.
Right. And of course, Mortal Kombat. Rambo's on that one too.
Of course.
But
I think
all right, guys.
No, he's not on there.
Okay.
Oh, on the back he is. Okay. With the T800.
All right. So with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for today's podcast and everything. I hope that you guys enjoyed our Rambo First Blood review. We're going to be doing the rest of the Rambo trilogy pretty soon, so go ahead and stay tuned for that. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Time, we are going to be doing a spoiler review for Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder's new zombie film. Then on Saturday, we are actually going live again, and we are doing our mental health movies. This is part of our mental health movies, Silver Linings Playbook, which we're going to have Sarah from Go Get That Rose back on with us again. We're going to be talking about that movie. So go ahead, check that out at 8 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time for that one. And then, of course, meet us back here again Sunday at what time did we decide on for Deadpool 2?
I'm not sure. Maybe 9 o'clock Eastern time. I'm not 100% sure, but
yeah, that sounds about right. Sunday. Yeah, I want to say about 9 Eastern.
We'll
for that one too. Yeah, we'll keep in touch on that one. But always until next time, guys, I can't wait to do this again. Also, too, if you guys want to, go on ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. Also, too, if you want an audio only podcast episode of this show, go on ahead and go to wherever you guys get your podcast at and everything. Go on ahead, subscribe over there. Also, too, we're having a little bit of a hard time with Apple Podcasts right now and stuff like that. They actually took my podcast off of the Apple Podcast, but you guys can actually get me on Spotify and all wherever else you guys get your podcast from. Again, go on ahead, and also too, if you have $5, maybe $10 that you want to donate to us and everything, how do you do that? Just go to www.gofundme.com/Movie Lovers Podcast. Of course, go on ahead and follow us on Facebook at Movie Lovers, TV Lovers Unite, underneath the same brand for Pinterest, as well as Instagram. Go on ahead and follow us on Twitter at Movie Lovers Unit, and also on Stereo at Movie Lovers Unit. Then, of course, go on ahead, if you want to reach out to me through via email, just go on ahead and email me at movieloversunite@gmail.com. For all your entertainment needs and wants, just go on ahead and go to www.movieloversunite.com. And always until next time, guys, it's been real. Thank you, Charlie, for joining me as well. And I can't wait to do this again, guys. And bye-bye.